Hi, I'm Katie and I'm one of the seniors here at Recruitment. I work on the engineering team, and today I'm very fortunate to have a guest with us, Kaz May, who's recently started the Her Game movement, and we're going to be talking about the gender balance in football and also as a wider topic. So Kaz, if you'd like to just tell us a little bit about what you do.
So I'm Kaz May. I am an edit assistant based in Bristol, but I also recently started up the Her Game 2 campaign, which tackles the misogynistic culture surrounding football.
If you talk to me a bit about Her Game 2, how did you start that? What was the reason behind it?
So Her Game 2 is a campaign to battle the misogynistic culture in football.
Okay.
So me and 11 other football fans just simply had enough of all the abuse that we're getting online.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just we disagree with your opinion, it's you can't talk about football because you're a woman. And it got to the point where we sort of thought, well, why does that make a difference?
Yeah.
We see the game as much as any other man in the stadium would. Why is it an issue that we are female and we want to talk about football? So we had enough, so we came up with Her Game 2, which is a campaign to tackle that culture, to make a change, not just for now, but for women in the next generation that want to come and watch football. And we want to build that secure, safe environment for them to be able to do so.
Okay, great. And how's the response been so far? I mean, I know you guys are pretty big on Twitter and you've had some good media exposure so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's been insane. We knew it would do quite well because we've got quite big reaches individually, me and the other girls involved in the campaign. But we did not expect to have 1 million views in 24 hours, and we had the backing of a lot of professional clubs and the EFL. We had a lot of newspapers and TV companies. We had the BBC, ITV, Sky Sports all do articles and interviews on it, so that was amazing. And now we're on 11.3 thousand followers on Twitter, and we're only 2 months old, so it's just been an incredible response. But it just goes to show that it was just so needed.
Yeah, no, definitely. I completely believe you, and I've seen the video myself. I think you put one out the other day about you had a woman from every different country.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got that. What other sorts of things have you guys been doing?
So at the moment, obviously football season hasn't even started yet, which is huge for us because that's what it's all about. So we know that we're approaching football season in August, so we're spending a lot of our time contacting all of the clubs across the Football League. So we've had fantastic responses from some of them already. We've already partnered up with Bristol Rovers and Gateshead, and then we've got other clubs like Huddersfield, Oldham, Wickham that are all very keen to partner up with us and get involved, and we're just going to work hard to see what we can put in place ahead of the new season. Just to get that message out there, raise awareness of it, and start making women feel that if they do experience any sexist abuse in the game, they can report it and it won't be tolerated and something will be done about it. So we got that, and then we've also got loads of other ideas of how we can champion women in football, share their stories, share them on our social pages, and just make a big shout about it and just say, look, we are here, we do exist, and it's as much our game as it is yours.
Brilliant. No, I love to hear that. I mean, you said kind of you can champion some of the women. Can you give us any specific examples or any little spoilers?
Yeah, I mean, with the Euros video, to be fair, that is kind of champion women across Europe, because we wanted to show that we could get a woman who loves football from every single country, and then they're saying Her Game 2 in her own language. So that in itself is sort of championing it. And then any presenters, referees, journalists, anyone who's involved in the game, we want to reach out to every single club in the 92. So we're going to do this whole challenge, which is going to be quite hard work for us, but we want to do almost every single day we will release a woman from a different club and say, this is her story, this is what she does, whether she's a fan, whether she's a player, whether she's a referee, and just sort of share them and put them out there just to sort of, show them off to everyone and say, look, these people, they're passionate about it, they love football, and then hopefully we'll start changing the mindsets.
No, I think it's great, if you can change one mindset, then hopefully that'll lead on to more. And obviously you kind of talked about you're only 2 months old at the moment. I mean, where do you see the future of Her Game 2 going?
I see it, to be honest, with the response we've had so far, I can see it becoming a bigger thing in the future. So you'll go to a football stadium and you'll see Her Game 2. And if football clubs can make that pledge to not tolerate sexist abuse, and if they threaten supporters who do that with bans or say you won't be allowed into the stadium, that's where the power is, and that's where these misogynistic idiots will start to crumble then, and they won't say it's just a little line is get back to the kitchen, it won't be worth it for them. And that's when we'll start to see a change, and that's when we'll start to see women starting to feel more comfortable. We did a survey for about just under 400 female fans that we got, and the responses we got from them, of them sharing their experiences of what they've had at football stadiums, in pubs, on trains, it's so hard to read, and we're sending them to these clubs, and we're allowing them to read the survey results, and they've come back and they agree that it's really grim to read, and it's not something they ever thought actually went on, but unless you're a female and you experience it, you'll never know that it goes on in the stands. So yeah, it's not just football grounds that we want to target, it's pubs as well. We've had some pubs reach out to us and say, look, we've noticed that when the football's on, it's very male dominated. What can we do with you to build a safer environment? And also the same, we're working with British Transport Police as well about how women can report sexist abuse on trains. So it's kind of going to be a thing across not just football stadiums, but anything surrounding football as well. And I'm hoping that in the future we'll start to see more women at games, because at the moment the ratio is just ridiculous. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's amazing. You know, if you can make those safe spaces for people, they'll use them, and hopefully it's making a difference not just for us today. You know, yourself as a fan, but girls that are growing up with the sport, and they can enjoy that. You know, as they grow up and become women themselves. Yeah. And hopefully not have to face it as well.
Exactly, that's the aim. And I think a lot of it for us is primary schools as well, taking that, taking the video campaign that we did, and doing modules and workshops around the subject, and taking it to the kids at school, because we've had dads with daughters that have come up to us and say, look, we really appreciate your campaign, because my daughter's been told at the playground by the boys that she can't join in because it's a man's game. So that problem is starting very, very young, at a young age. So if we could go to schools and deliver the message that it's her game too, then hopefully we'll start to stamp out that from a young age, and then in time it will start to be a more inclusive game.
Yeah, and that's the idea. You know, I think it's brilliant, like I said.
Yeah.
And just building into that, I know your personal professional background is in the tech industry, so you know, from my experience and working with people in the tech industry and engineering, I'm very familiar that it's also very male dominated. I mean, what's your experience like, and what sort of challenges do women in the tech industry face today?
Yeah, so my walk of life has been very male dominated. I don't know how that's happened, but yeah, so I've always found that working in television and with a tech background has always been male dominated. I used to work on a team of about 13 people, and only 2 of us were girls. And I've always found, I've had personal experience where I've had to battle for my job without any real reason as to why the men would get the job over me. I've had to, really fight for that opportunity to keep me in the role, which was really unfair, because, not to toot my own horn, but I knew that I was working a lot harder than the 2 men that got the job ahead of me. So I've had to face that before. I've had a lot of men disregard what I'm saying, and then if a man who was doing the same role as me would come over and offer the same advice, they'll then listen to him. So I do think it's something that is kind of in the back of their mind. It's like they're not very conscious of what they're doing, but they don't trust that a woman is capable of having a technical mind. But I've been in the job for 8 years now. I've progressed in it, and I've just got better at what I do, and now I'm probably one of the top edit assistants in Bristol at the moment, because I've been in it so long, and I do know what I'm doing. And I just think, when I look back to when I was 19 years old and I had to battle for my job, it was just a very misogynistic, sexist industry that I was in, and unfortunately it still goes on. There's actually an Instagram page set up called Things Men Say to Me in TV or something, because it's well known that females in this industry get looked down on because they're female. So it's kind of funny for me with the Her Game 2 thing and what I'm doing now in my job. I mean, my employers at the moment are absolutely fantastic, and they're aware of the situation, so they've made a conscious effort to make one of their productions an all-female production. They do have other productions as well, which is mixed, but they want to dedicate one production to all women. So it's really fantastic that I'm now landed in this role that I'm in now with this company that are so great, because finally people are starting to realise that it's very male-dominated and it needs to change.
Yeah, and do you think that your experiences, not just in football but in tech, are very similar, and the challenges that women face are similar across those fields as well?
Yeah, I do think it is. I think that there's a lot of disregarding, like I said, like there's a lot of men that don't believe that women are capable of doing certain things. There are a lot of men that don't believe women are capable of having a technical mind, but also a football mind, and don't understand the game. And I don't know where it really comes from.
Yeah.
A lot of it is very dated, and I find that a lot of the abuse or comments that I've had have been from men of a similar age, of a certain generation. But unfortunately, it has filtered down through to our generation, and it's sort of like, when is this going to change, and when is this going to stop? Because, you know, we're all aware of it, but there's never been anything, for example, like her game 2 that's happened before, and it's I can't believe it's taken this long, 2021, for someone to shout about it being a problem. So with like what you guys are doing now with like these podcasts and raising awareness, is if we keep talking about it and keep raising that awareness, then that's what's going to hopefully create the change.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, it's something that, working in not just recruitment but also engineering, both of these fields, you know, in recruitment there's, you know, I think it's 1/3 of recruitment companies have less than 5% female directors or representation at board level. You know, that's nothing, and it's mirrored across engineering. And 12% of engineers in the UK, they are women, and the rest are men. So women are already facing an uphill battle to have equal representation, you know, and gender balance in the workplace. And, you know, I know a lot of our clients, for example, they are very much aware of the issues and they want to change. And they just don't know how, because there is a lack of girls coming through the school system. Women aren't being pushed towards engineering at the university level. And so I completely agree with you. Raising awareness, talking about these subjects, it's huge. And if we can help educate one person and bring the awareness to them, then hopefully over a period of time that will transfer to a girl that wants to become an engineer or wants to be an editor assistant, or, you know, she just loves football.
Yeah.
I mean, what other suggestions would you give to people that are kind of wanting to improve their gender balance, would you say?
Yeah, so my company at the moment, like I said earlier, are doing a great thing in championing women and having it an all-female production. So it's the same with filming, and you get a lot of camera operators that are men. We've actually got a lot of women that are camera operators, but they're never trusted to be able to do the job. But we've actually got all-female camera operators, and they're going through jungles or going through in the desert, and it's scorching hot, but they're doing a fantastic job. So it's sort of making that step to do that and put these women out there. We've even scouted out a director in Kenya who, so she's obviously wanted to break into the industry, but it's even tougher being a woman in Kenya to be able to do it. But she's been given a role as a director, and she's working out there, and we've cut together videos of her doing interviews, and we're sort of showing that to people and saying, look what we're doing. She's doing a great job, and obviously once the film's out, it's gonna and everyone's aware that it was an all-female production. That then in itself is something that other companies can then do, and then people could start to trust and believe that women are capable of doing the job. And to raise awareness, like we said, to keep talking about it, keep shouting about it, keep sharing experiences. I know a lot of people get embarrassed about sharing experiences, but I think it's actually really important to build that sort of social circle of women that go through the same thing. So with like her game 2, it's all women who love football. So we're going to start up talk groups so women can go and share their experiences and talk about, I mean, we've just had the Euros, and we've had a girl come forward and say, can I write for your website about the treatment that I faced? Yes, absolutely. We need to put it out there. And a lot of men just need to be on our side. And we're not looking to take over, and this is what a lot of men don't understand. Is we're not here to take over. We don't want to take the game away from you. Don't want to take the jobs away from you. We just want to be included with you fairly. And if men can support women and empower women the same way as women support other women, then it's such a strong impact. It will have such a strong impact on the industry and in football and all of these places where women have to face this challenge.
Yeah, because it is a huge problem that a lot of women face, and not just in tech, not just in engineering and in football, but in wider sectors as well, all walks of life. And just coming back to your point there about men, you know, you said about men empowering women. So what sort of things could men do? You know, how could they really empower women and help it? You know, I can imagine we've got a lot of men that will probably watch this video and think, I want to improve diversity or gender balance in my business. How can I do that? You know, and as you said, champion women. What else could they do?
Well, they could. What I would think with men, if they ever hear anything that's like sexist towards the women, that's like, it could be their friends, they could be down the pub having a pint. If men just turn around and say, I don't find it funny, I don't think it's cool, we need to treat women fairly, that's when it will start to change, because a lot of these comments, whether they really truly believe it or not, they are to get laughs and they are to get likes, or in the social media world it's to get like retweets and things like that. So I think if a lot of men stand up against that sort of sexist abuse, then it will then start to, you know, they'll go back in their shell. They want to impress their friends, and if their friends aren't impressed, then obviously that's one step towards a better future. But also, like you said earlier, with like board level, so you want more female representatives at board level. You want people who are near the top, that are role models, that are an inspiration. And I find that with football as well, it's sort of the same thing. So there are some football clubs that have made an effort to have a female on the board of directors, because we're trying to tackle this misogynistic culture, and if we have someone who's at the top that's female, then it makes a massive difference. So it's just small things like that where you can pave the way for more female women in power. And like I said, we're not here to take over, we're not trying to get rid of men. A lot of people get confused and think we're extreme feminists. We're not. We just want to be included, and we want an equal future.
Yeah, and I'm completely with you, you know, and it's one thing that we're really doing here at Heat is, you know, like we said, we're raising the awareness, and if we can have these conversations, yes, they're not the easy conversations to have, but by us having this conversation, we are hopefully opening people's minds and just starting that conversation that they can have with their employees, with their friends, and with any other peers in their circles. You know, hopefully this will help people. So yeah, thank you so much, Kaz.
Thank you.
Hopefully you've enjoyed coming here at Heat.
It's been great. It's been so lovely to meet you guys, and I find it so interesting that we have those overlapping values and similar experiences, even though we're in completely different roles. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, like we say, just talking about it can improve things, not just for us, but for girls and other women coming through that maybe aren't as confident or as willing to speak out against the experiences that they've had.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, hopefully this will be a change, and I think it's so important for women to talk about these things. It absolutely is. So hopefully someone will watch this, maybe get in touch with you guys if you want to talk about it. But we'll see.
No, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming in. So if you've been affected by any of the issues we've talked about today, then please get in contact. You know, if you're a man or a woman who has agreed with us or disagreed, or if you've got similar experiences to share, we'd love to hear from you. So you can contact myself or any of the team here at Heat Recruitment about this, and how we can also help to support your business and improve the gender balance within your network and the people you work with.